Okay, let's talk about something every single one of us has felt: failure. You know that sinking feeling in your gut, that moment you realize things didn't work out? Well, what if I told you that your biggest setbacks are actually setting you up for your greatest comebacks? We're going to dive in and completely reframe how you see failure, turning it from something you dread into maybe your most powerful guide.
It's a feeling we all know, right? You've got your eye on something, you're working towards it, and then, bam! The door slams shut right in your face. Man, it hurts. It's confusing. And it can make you question absolutely everything.
I mean, really, take a second and think about that. You pour your entire heart into a project, a relationship, a dream, and then it all just crumbles. And you're left standing there in the middle of it all, just wondering, why? Why did my best effort not work? It can be an incredibly lonely place to be.
Now here is the big idea, the total shift in perspective we're exploring today. What if that rejection wasn't a punishment? What if it was actually a redirection, a kind of protection, guiding you towards a future that's even better than the one you had mapped out for yourself?
To really get our heads around this, I want to share a simple but really powerful story with you. It's a little parable that just perfectly captures this new way of looking at those unexpected and, yeah, often painful turns our lives can take.
So, get this picture in your head. There's this little sparrow, and she's found what she thinks is the ultimate home inside this massive old bronze bell. To her, it's perfect. It's safe, it's shelter, it is her entire world.
And you know, we can all relate to that, can't we? We find a job, a friend group, a routine that feels comfortable and safe, and we build our nest right there. We tell ourselves, okay, this is it. I'm secure here. Nothing can touch me. And then the crisis hits. Just completely out of the blue, some monks come back and they ring the bell. And for that little sparrow, it is an absolute catastrophe. Her whole world, her home, that sense of safety, it's just shattered in a single moment by this deafening, violent noise.
So she has to flee, completely heartbroken and confused. You know, she didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly her home is gone. This is that gut-wrenching why me moment that we all feel when a setback blindsides us. It feels so unfair, so personal, and just devastating.
But here's the twist. This is the crucial part of the story. After days of flying, she stumbles upon a hidden forest, a paradise she never even knew existed. And it hits her. That terrifying sound of the bell was actually the sound of her freedom. She realizes that cramped, dusty bell was holding her back. The very thing that destroyed her world was the thing that pushed her to find a much, much better one.
So that's a nice story. But how does a sparrow and a bell apply to us, right? Well, let's bring this idea down to earth with a human story of persistence, one that shows exactly how this mindset can play out in the real world.
So, meet Liam. His one dream in life is to be an amazing soccer player. And he puts in the work. I mean, he practices constantly. But every single time he tries out for the team, he gets cut. It gets so bad that he becomes known for it. He gets this nickname that would make most of us just give up entirely. Just let that number sink in for a second. 10. 10 tries. That's 10 rounds of rejection, 10 rounds of public failure, of his own parents gently suggesting that maybe it's time to find a new hobby. The amount of grit that takes is just incredible.
See, an old coach helped Liam completely reframe his thinking. And you can see that shift right here. Instead of seeing failure as this big enemy, a giant stop sign, he started to see it as his teacher. Every goal he missed taught him about balance. Every time he fell, he learned more about focus. Failure stopped being a source of shame, and it actually became his greatest source of strength.
Okay, so we get the concept. The sparrow, Liam, it makes sense. But how do we actually do this when we're the ones in the middle of a crisis? So let's get practical. Here's a 4-step framework you can use to start turning your own setbacks into powerful setups. Here they are, the 4 steps. We're going to break each one down, but just notice the flow here, right? It starts with your immediate reaction and moves you toward a long-term mindset. It's all about managing the crisis first and then finding the opportunity hidden inside it.
Step 1, and this is maybe the most important, stop the panic. When that bell rings in your life, you get laid off, a relationship ends, your first instinct is just chaos. But panic makes us do dumb things. The key is to create a little bit of space. Just take a breath. A calm mind is a smart mind, and you're going to need to be smart to figure out what comes next.
All right, once you're calm, it's time to get curious. You need to ask the single most powerful question: What is this trying to teach me? Think of that failure like a shock of cold water to the face. Yeah, it's jarring, but boy does it wake you up. It forces you to see things you might have been ignoring and opens your eyes to totally new possibilities.
Step 3 is to recognize the push. This means you start to see the loss not as something being taken from you, but as life pushing you towards something new. This goes right back to our sparrow. Maybe your current nest, your job, your city, your situation has just gotten too small for you. This setback might be the exact push you need to grow.
And finally, step 4. This isn't a one-and-done thing. It's an ongoing practice. Think of your mind as a garden. That negative thought about your failure? It's a weed, and if you let it grow, it'll take over everything. You have to make a conscious choice every day to water the seeds of ambition and learning, not the weeds of regret.
So let's wrap this all up. What this really comes down to is a fundamental sense of trust. Not a blind faith that bad things won't happen, they will. It's a trust that you can find the good inside them. It's about trusting your own resilience and trusting the path you're on, even when you have no idea where it's leading.
And this right here is the core message. It is not about avoiding failure. That's impossible. The real measure of your character, of your strength, and ultimately of your success is all found in your ability to get back on your feet. Learn what you need to learn and just keep moving forward.
And that's a pretty comforting thought, isn't it? The idea that maybe the universe isn't being cruel to you. Maybe it's just clearing the path. It's making room for something better, something bigger, something that's way more aligned with who you're really meant to become.
So I want to leave you with this one question to really mull over. That recent failure, that door that just slammed shut, that ringing bell in your own life, what if it isn't the end of the story? What if it's the forceful, necessary push you needed towards a paradise you haven't even discovered yet? It's worth thinking about. Trust the journey.